skibbity dee. Okay, chapter 10, I guess. Yeah, oh, that's a bit close to my mouth, actually. Alright, yeah. After hanging up, on Chion, I searched for Rika Chan's, phone number on my school contact list. There it is. Rika Chan. My fingers trembled with urgency, and I failed multiple times to put in the simple 5-digit code. Kichi, are you calling someone at this hour? It's late and it's rude to the other person. That, that doesn't matter right now, I shouted angrily at my mom, listening to the dial tone. Pick up, come on, pick up. The time was 11 p.m. It certainly wasn't early. It was essentially the middle of the night. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would ring constantly though, would she get back up for me? Rika-chan didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. Maybe something happened. She just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just too far away from the phone. The sound of the phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Then, the bathroom? Yeah, so she must be taking a bath. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick it up. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally takes baths right before going to bed. I'll wait 30 minutes, then try calling again. Even as I was thinking that, I called our house over and over again. I kept calling over and over and over. I kept calling, but she didn't pick up, not even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes. Yeah, she wasn't picking up. Were my phone calls so persistent that she had gotten scared of picking up the receiver? But that couldn't possibly be it. There was no point in doing this any longer. The best thing, the best thing to do would be to go there in person. Where was Rika-chan's house though? Shit. I've never even asked her where she lived. Her residence was written there in the contacts list, but it was an address with mostly numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Isn't there a map or something in here? Rika Furudu. Her last name was Furudu. It was a bit of an odd name, so it might be easy to find. Thinking that, I rummaged around the drawer with the phone book, but could only find things like take app menus and phone numbers for public establishments. Shit. I threw one thing out after another out of the drawer, but I didn't come up with any clues as to where Rika-chan's house was. Calm down, Kichimabara. If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know. Ah, that's it. Rina's gotta know. I looked up Rina's phone number on the contact list. Rina Hagura. There she was. Hello, this is Hagura. It was the sound of a grumpy sounding man. It must have been Rina's father. I'm calling in the middle of the night. I need to be polite. I'm so sorry for calling so late. This is Murata. Is there any a chance Rina-san is around? Rina is taking a bath. Oh, she's done. Rina, there's a friend of yours on the phone. Alright, Rina Hagura wasn't her real name, was it? I've got used to calling her Rina that. Hearing her real name caught me a little off guard. Hello? This is Rina. It's me, Kichi. So sorry for calling so late. Huh? Kichi-kun? Well, what do you need at a time like this? Well, actually, I wanted to know where Rika-chan's house is. Rina seemed a little appalled that I'd called her to something like that at this hour. However, she spoke her next words seriously, as if she'd caught on to how urgent my need was. Okay, sure. You know the assembly hall on the grounds of the Furudu Shrine? There's a two-story shack used for storage behind it. That's where she lives. I couldn't immediately visualize the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I'll just have a look around for it. Got it, thanks. Sorry for calling so late at night. Apologize to your dad for me too, would you? Okay, but Kichi-kun, why do you want to know where Rika-chan lives? Rina asked in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone. I hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him. Kichi-kun, if you're still listening, could you answer me? Why are you asking where Rika-chan lives at a time like this? Rina affected her usual tone, but beneath her words lay a tension, like she'd instinctively sensed something was going on. What do you do, Kichi? If it's Rina, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed. Kichi-kun, Rina's being serious. Please answer me. Rina asked me once again in a tone so forceful I couldn't imagine using it normally. I was taken aback by her figure. Rina was Rika Chan's friend too. She had the right to be concerned about Rika Chan's disappearing. If I told Rina then, even if only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rina, well, I can't tell you exactly why, but yes, Rina's tone was seriousness itself. Just from that tone I could feel her saying, no matter what you say, Kichi, I'll believe you. That subtle sense of security gave me the courage to tell the truth. I have a feeling that Rika Chan is in danger. You mean like a premonition, or do you have like a reason to believe she's in danger? I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rina like this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. Um, I don't have much reason, but yet I still hesitated. I told Rina that we had snuck into the ritual storehouse. I had told Rina that the mayor to whom Shion had confessed before that had already disappeared. I had told Rika Chan, not Rina, so it was possible that Rika Chan also. I didn't know how to explain it to Rina. While I was tongue-tied, Rina spoke up. Sorry for asking something so weird. I thought about it, and it isn't like you need to be sure. Rina laughed a little, seeming a bit absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rina continued in a cheerful yet, still purposeful voice. You're worried about a friend. I don't think you need a reason to go and check on them. Even if Rika-chan was asleep, you ended up waking her up. If that was why you did it, then none of us would get mad. Rina, thank you. Okay then, Kiju, just one more thing. You called Rika-chan's house, right? Then you couldn't get through. So that's why you asked me where her house is. Yeah, that's right. I must have called her for over 10 minutes. She could just be sleeping and not have noticed. Rika-chan's house is really small. She would have definitely heard the phone ringing even if she was asleep. Satoko is there too, so there's no way neither of them would notice. Huh? Satoko, you mean she's living with Rika-chan? Yeah. You didn't know? Well, we can talk about that later. Anyway, if you called that much and no one answered, then there's definitely something wrong. Rina understood that the situation wasn't normal, far faster than I had ever imagined her to. It made her seem dependable. However, the fact that has acknowledged this also meant that the best case scenario of it all just being the result of my own needless fears went out the window. I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? I can show you the way. Sounds good. Let's be at the same place as usual. I'll be waiting for you. No, wait. I'll come get you at your house. You just wait there. And tell your family you're coming with me to Rika-chan's house, okay? Will that be okay? We might lose time if you come here. Did you call Mi-chan too? She's really dependable at times like these. If you haven't, then I'll give her a call. My thoughts froze for a moment. Shion had told me just to be careful around Mion during our phone conversations a little while ago. If the Shinozaki house, main house, was somehow lurking behind the surface of the annual freak death, then the current head to the family Mion wouldn't be uninvolved. So wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano and Tomita-clan, and also the mayor's disappearance? Okay, bye. I'll be right over. Wait for me. That's what Rina said before hurriedly hanging up. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mion. I needed to make sure Rika-chan was safe. I got changed and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we went up in the pace we usually do before school. Rina wouldn't need to come all the way to my house. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I crept out without a word. The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. She said that Rika-chan and Satoko lived together, right? Then it wasn't only Rika-chan, Satoko wasn't there either. Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worse. That can't be Satoko is. She's got nothing to do with any of this. Even if there was a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Satoko. Kichi-kun? Rina was really fast. She approached me on her bike at an amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of how hurriedly she'd been going. Hey Rina, let's get going. Kichi-kun, I thought I told you to wait at your house. Rina's expression was all business. Was she mad? It came out of the blue and I faltered for a moment. While I just figured it'd be faster to meet up here. Kichi-kun, don't you get it? Rina shouted, clearly angry. I've never seen Rina like this before. Do I get it? What's the problem? Rina seemed to know if she was scaring me. Took a couple of breaths, then continued as if astonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all. Kichi-kun, the whole village is in an uproar right now that the elder disappeared, right? Yeah? Now you're telling me that Rika Chan and Satoko aren't where they're supposed to be, right? Yeah? That about sums it up. Then you need to be more careful. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to be standing here alone in the middle of the night? I began to understand where Rina's anger was coming from. You told your family you'd be going to Rika Chan's house with me, didn't you? So that in the worst case scenario, if you and I were to disappear, people would know when and where we did. Rina was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Ever since the night of Watanagashi, every night somebody had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takano-san and Tomitake-san met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now, on the next night after that, Rika-chan and Satoko were nowhere to be found. I've been thinking of anyone. I haven't been thinking about anyone but myself, but it wasn't enough to say that Himizawa was a little weird at the moment. It was in fact extremely strange. Rina had even anticipated our own disappearances and had told me to tell my family where I was going. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Sorry, I didn't tell them yet. Okay, then let's go tell them together. With Rina beside me, I'll wheel back towards my house. Oh, the moon seemed strangely high in the sky. A sky that was uselessly vast and cold, so that no matter what it would it never seemed to me like a dream. This cruel fate had already comforted me. On such a crazy night, Rina had been unimaginably dependable. Himizawa's mementos, enough to make Rina's caution me against carelessness, was to me the most fearsome thing of all. The moon itself, strangely high in the sky. We met up with Mion on the way, and she of course was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan's and Stoko's disappearance. Kichi-chan, are you serious? I'm gonna get really mad if this is a joke. Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't funny. I understand how indiscreet my words were. Since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Satoko disappearing after all, that was something you just couldn't even say even in jest. Mi-chan, it really is a joke. Don't get mad, smile. If it really is a joke, don't get mad, smile. It would be a joke after all. We need to go make sure whether it's a joke or not. You're right. Sorry for getting upset. However, indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rina, Mion gave a dry smile. The tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bike as well. Our three bikes lights flashed down the pitch black roads. I accidentally skipped it. They were some of the only illumination outside. Ki-chan, why did you suddenly decide to call and ask about Rika-chan's house at a time like this? Mian asked me the same thing that I had trouble explaining to Rina. Would it be weird to call it a premonition? I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mian smiling very ambiguously. I definitely understood that she wasn't convinced though, despite the darkness. Well, I had this bad dream while I was snoozing and I couldn't get it out of my head. So, did Rika-chan get kidnapped in the dream? Well, it was more of a vague feeling sort of thing. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rina after that. Like, lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift thoughts they were. I was lying because I thought telling them I was connected to Shion would be silently admitting we'd stolen into the ritual storehouse together that night. Stolen. Mion didn't press me any further. I don't know whether that convinced her. Maybe she figured that making Rika-chan and making sure Rika-chan and Satoko was safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting differently these past few days, but I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It's only because of what I heard from Shion Ushi-san that she was the successor to some kind of extremely extravagant gang family. Now, was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Kichimabara. Wasn't it Mian who was the first one to ask me about the Nada Watanagashi? In such a harsh tone at that. Have I really forgotten the fear I felt? At that time, Mian looked like someone different from the Mian I knew. When I think about that Mian, then Shion and Yushi's descriptions of Mian had made a tiny bit more sense. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? I was conveniently thinking only of everything she had done after that, while disregarding the very first thing, the thing I should have been looking at most, wasn't I? The girl was pedaling her bike in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how I looked at her, her back here never gave me answers to any of my questions. We went all the way to the stone steps leading up to the shrine grounds. Of course we weren't going to want to haul our bikes up there, so we parked them beside the staircase instead. So this is the Furudu Shrine. Everyone comes and goes as they please as if it were a park, but this place is actually a grand estate owned by the Furudu family, so the entire estate is private property. It really makes you feel the passage of time. 10 or 20 years ago it would have looked the exact same. Then wouldn't that mean that the Furudu family is really old? With the history going back for generations? Yeah, they're gone. That's odd. That's odd. Rina said something clearly disquieting, so I ran over to her. What's wrong, Rina? Rika Chan and Satoko's Chan always leaves their bicycles here. See? They're gone. I took a look around. Indeed, there was no bicycles aside from the ones we taken to get here. Couldn't they have parked them somewhere else? Could they have brought them up the stairs? Those girls couldn't do that, Kichi-kun. Just as she said, I couldn't imagine Rika-chan and Satoko lugging their bikes all the way up there. We hadn't yet knocked on Rika-chan's door, but reality was already sparking some ideas that weren't what you would call good. Maybe they were just parked under some trees and we hadn't noticed them. I refused to believe not being able to find their bikes here was proof that they've disappeared. Let's go. The only way to be sure is to check their house. We all nodded and dashed up the stone steps. We passed through the red arch and came out onto the shrine grounds, which was connected, covered in neat gravel. It was quiet here, as though the Watanagashi festival had never happened. So where's the house they live in? Over here. Come with me. Rina took the lead and sprinted off. We went towards the assembly hall behind the shrine, then looped around it. In the darkness of the night, we found a small, prefab two-story shack that looked like a warehouse. The lights are off. Are they sleeping? Nice knock. Rina and Mian near the shack, which didn't really look like a place people would live in. They had such a beautiful shrine, so I figured they'd live in an equally beautiful house. It was far from what I had expected. Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! Are you there? Rina shouted up towards the second floor. Her voice was restrained at first, but steadily grew louder. No answer. In fact, there wasn't any sort of activity in the house at all. They might be sleeping. Let's wake them up. Mion was banging on the shutter with both hands, and the loud sounds echoed into our surroundings. They would have noticed this much noise. They would have turned the lights in their room, or flung open the windows and yelled, "What time do you think it is?" That, however, wasn't happening. There was absolutely no response. Mion stopped slamming her fist on the shutter, and a silence fell over us. The silence arose terrible thoughts in us. I could feel the blood draining from my face. It's locked. I wonder if we can get in somehow. Rina showed no sign of stopping. It didn't look like she would admit that they weren't there until we went inside and saw for ourselves. Their refusal to give in gave me strength. The second-story window wouldn't be locked. I'll give them a try. Ji-chan, a ladder. Mion brought over a ladder that was standing against the house. The footing was a little unstable for me to be climbing it, but Mion held the ladder firmly in place for me. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I didn't climb too many ladders. My inexperience with them exposed, I climbed up one step at a time and tried to open each window on the second floor. Mi-chan, I'm going to check the main house just to be sure, okay? I'll be right back. Mion, Rina darted away. What, a main house? It's the Furudu family's house, actually. After her parents passed away, I think it's been left like that. Ah, right. Rika-chan's parents, they passed away, huh? At that point, I recalled something else. Wasn't Satoko living here too? Satoko's also an orphan. Her parents fell from a cliff because of Orishida-sama's curse. Then her older brother Satoshi he disappeared. Satoshi, I've heard that name before. I remembered. He was the one who disappeared last year because of the curse. Ever since then, Satoko and Rika Chan have been living in this shack. Neither of them have any family, but at least they're together. They help each other out. Rina said main house, didn't she? Wouldn't it be easier to live there? The curtains were drawn so I couldn't get a good look inside, but two young girls living inside seemed like a pretty rough life. I think she tried that at first. She said it was hard though because it reminded her of her parents. I had no idea. I feel really bad for them. They were normally so cheerful at school that I never even realized an atom of this. Rika-chan to Togo-chan, they have it hard, huh? She's cursed. Huh? Suddenly Mion said something in a low voice that it sounded like she was really cursing someone, and I didn't let it slide. I turned around on the ladder to face her and asked her again, Mion, what did you just say? I said she's cursed. Mion, still holding onto the ladder, brought her head up to look me into the eyes. As soon as her eyes met, absolutely zero jolts of electricity surged through my body. Mion's eyes clouded over, and within them boiled and bubbled a stew of chaos. They whirled around and around like a raging sea, and bubbles floated to the surface. I had at some point been trapped on this ladder, like being cornered on a dead-end street. Mion, why are you making that face? I tried to follow it up with you're going too far with a joke and gave her a full smile. However, on such an uneven footing as I was, the only thing that came out my mouth was a hoarse groan, as I desperately struggled to not let nausea overwhelm me. Satoko Hojo, she's been cursed by Orishida-sama. Mion answered me with a response to something I never asked, as if replying to someone else's question. The only people who fell from the park observation platform were her parents. Only her parents, who treated her like dirt, died that day. She was the only one who survived. Then she was sent to live with her aunt, who treated her cruelly, and the aunt was killed on the night of Watanagashi by some deviant who beat her to death so violently her brains were everywhere and her head a tiny different shape by the end. Then Satoshi, who always protected her, he suddenly disappeared on her birthday. Somebody made him disappear, even though he wasn't abusing her. The police judged him to have run away from home. But Satoshi wasn't that kind of person who would do that. He was always earnest. He would never ask for anyone's help. He would always drag himself through everything with hard work alone. He worked so hard he nearly grounded his bones to dust, all for his one and only little sister. Yet somebody made him disappear. She was the only thing he lived for, and yet somebody made him disappear. Poor Satoshi-kun. He was never rewarded, that Satoshi-kun. How ungrateful that child is. She is cursed. All who get near her suffer the same fate. The curse kills them, but the curse makes them disappear. She could not have any relief. She could not have any relief. It's probably Satoko's fault that Rika Chan disappeared too. It has to be. 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 It has to. Has to. Mion was mumbling words over and over that were no longer coherent. Her shoulders were trembling so hard that I could feel it through the ladder. I almost lost my footing, which made me realize just how far away the ground really was. Calm down, Mion. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't sure if she even heard me. Mion rocked back and forth, and that rocking and trembling was even more violent. Help me. The ladder, it's falling. Help me, help! Just then, I heard the sound of so many people running towards us. Oh, hey! Over here! I very nearly said help me outright. 4 or 5 adults led by Rina ran over here with the flashlights. Ichi-kun, Mi-chan, sorry I took so long. I borrowed the key. Oh, nice one. Seems all the windows and doors are perfectly sealed. I was getting worried. When I heard Mion talking like nothing had just happened, I again felt a chill run down my spine. The person currently holding the ladder in this place was definitely Mion. It was the real Mion Shinozaki. Then, the person muttering to themselves just a few seconds ago. Who was that? Ba ba ba. The person who was muttering about terrible things like curses. Who was that? I jumped down from the ladder as if running away, for Mion turned into that person who wasn't Mion for a second time. The adults tried a few different keys on a keyring as they tried to open the door, tried to open the big shutter on the first floor. Rika Chan's house used to be a disaster shelter for the town council. but the key to the shutter is still kept in the mayor's house. It's Rika Chan's and Satoko Chan's private residence now, though. Well, this is on Rika Chan's property anyway. Nobody complains about it. Mion gave me a smile as she said that. I, however, could only return her gaze with a aghast expression. Mion was acting all too normal now, but that only contrasted all the more sharply with her earlier un-Mion-like creepiness. Bang! Bam! Clatter, 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 bang! Shutter opened up for the first time in a very long while. Oh. Eh? Eh? Huh? Eh? Rina located the light switch and wasted no time going inside. I followed her in. Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! You're here, say something! You're not here. Oh, this is thinking again. I have to sit down. Ah, whatever. We climbed a narrow staircase. It had looked nothing more than a warehouse, but now I was inside. I could feel how lived in it was. It was a person's home. Somehow the scent of the two of them filled the place. This was definitely where Rika-chan and Satoko lived. The first floor doubled as a town assembly warehouse, but the second floor was a space entirely for living. Just like a one-room apartment. Past the kitchen was a living room taking up about 150 square feet. Dressers, cupboards, and the like were packed into the space, and in the corner there was a huge pile of clothes that appeared to have just been taken in from drying outside. The center of the living room was a folded-up table, and on top of it were small containers for things like soy sauce, salad dressing. The sense of a frugal lifestyle drifted from all of it. It was strange that they weren't here in the middle of the night, like this. The adults climbing the stairs one at a time began to make a fuss and talk amongst themselves. So, not here? Yeah, they're not here. This is definitely weird. The villagers had just been going to chaos yesterday because of the mayor's disappearance. Then today, even Rika-chan and Satoko had. Were they out playing somewhere together? That can't be. There can't be. Their bikes aren't here though. Where would they have gone so late at night? Had they just not come back yet? Where did they go? The adults put forth various possibilities, and the house immediately devolved into a state of confusion. Eventually, Mion settled them down. I don't want to believe it, but the Mayor Kimiyoshi disappeared yesterday. We can't say that this is unrelated. The adults' faces paled at Mion's declaration. Mine and Venus' faces did as well. Let's see, they could have gone nearby for some tea or something, and accidentally fallen asleep. Whoever invited them might just not be able to wake them up at all, too. Let's eliminate that possibility first. Mikino-san, please go around to the houses nearby the stream. Kitori-san, go look near Ojo Lake. Akomura-san, you. Mion promptly gave direction to the villagers. The adults followed them without hesitation despite her age. We'll remain here and call anyone we can think of on the phone. Okay, everyone, you have your orders. Got it. The adults all roared in reply and pounded back down the staircase below. Oh, wow, Mi-chan. You're not only the chairperson of the school, but Himazawa too. No time for jokes. Hey, step aside. This old man is using the phone. Mion grinned proudly, took the receiver and got started. Rina gave Mion a trusting look considering her dependable for doing all this. My feelings though were a little more complicated, since her leadership seemed to be affirming the Shinzaki family's successor impression that Shion and Ushi-san had given me. Stop right there, Kichimabara. None of that matters right now. The most important thing is to make sure Rika-chan and Satoko are safe. Let's see, couldn't there be a clue hinting out where they might have gone somewhere in this room? Still though, I wouldn't know what to look for anyway. If we tore the whole place apart and figured out what was different from before, we might be able to speculate, but there's nothing strange about this room, and there's no clues inside. In the first place, I had never been here before. There was no way for me to know what was different if I didn't know how the room usually looked like. Hey, don't give up, Kichimabara. Stop thinking and start looking for something. In search for something, I tried pulling open the dresser drawers and open the windows. I didn't uncover anything meaningful though. Rina was also unable to stand around doing nothing, was looking around the room like I was. Rina, I don't think you find Rika Chan by opening the refrigerator or the cabinet underneath the sink. I just I just thought they might be hiding. As we were searching, it got noisy outside. Villagers were quickly assembling here, having heard the commotion. Of course, a lot of them were probably people Mion had called. I'll go tell everyone what's going on. The police will be here sooner or later, soon too. We'll need to explain the situation to Ushi. Mion began descending the stairs, and we followed her out to the front of the house. Bum bum ba ba ba. There's already around 10 adults here, and all of them looked uneasy. I suddenly noticed the old people from the shrine were here as well as, and they were praying for Rika-chan's safety, rubbing their prayer beads together. This has gone bad. This wasn't just a problem between friends anymore. Mion-chan, is it true that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan aren't anywhere to be found? The villagers all formed a ring around Mion, swarming her. Mion raised her right hand as if silencing them to calm down. First, let's check everyone's house according to the town council's notifications division and see if they're visiting anyone. After that, after all, they could be fast asleep at someone's house and totally unaware that we're looking for them. It would definitely be hard for someone to wake up Rika-chan if she had gotten a good full meal and fallen asleep like a kitten afterwards. Oh, how nice it would be if that was the case. I don't want to think about this, but it's also possible something bad has happened. Mion's face grew remarkably more grim, and a wave of silence washed over the adults. We should divide up the work too. We'll go around to all the places we went to last night while looking for the mayor. We'll look around the damn construction site as best as we can. You guys go search around the school. Right. Let's again move on. Come on, let's go. All of you were all up last night looking for the mayor, and I know you're low on sleep, but please do your best. Got it. With that as a signal, the adults scattered in every direction. Figured I should scatter somewhere as well, so I started walking around unsteadily in a direction no one else had gone in. I was getting farther and farther away from people. I didn't feel scared of anything though. If anyone were made to disappear, Shin and I should be first. It would have been perfect for me to be scared of the dark. However, I didn't feel that way. Why was that? It was because tonight, someone had only disappeared, so nobody else would disappear tonight. It would take some time before exhausted as I was, would feel guilt at the cause of my own selfish sense of relief. Higurashi, when they cry. Ba da ba 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 ba. Rika got eaten by the dog. I can't believe this. How am I supposed to be meowing anymore if Rika's gone? Unless Rika got eaten by the dog, so I don't have to get eaten anymore. Wait, she never said eaten, she said bit, didn't she? Suddenly my vision cleared and a cold wind caressed my body. This was the hill from which you could see the whole village. Looking down from the village, I could see the lights on here and there. I knew that the entire village had woken up from a slumber. First the Karana-san, now Mitak, then the mayor, now even Rika-chan and Satoko had been sacrificed, and word of it was spreading everywhere. The strength in my knees left me. This could no longer be called a joke. We could have found them. Mion would have told me I was a reward. Rina would have just been glad we did, and they would have smiled at me. My hopes disappeared as if I were awakening from a dream. That was what the view I could see was telling me. Following my knees, my arms both bent forward onto the ground, and I clawed at it with my nails. I couldn't figure out if I was feeling sorrow or frustration. Is this my fault? I couldn't endure the burden of my own sin, and I had just told Rika-chan about it. They had nothing to do with it, but Rika-chan and Satoko had been sacrificed. It was like a cross that Shin and I would each have to bear the weight of until we ourselves were erased. Well, if I'm going that far, then the problem started long before that. My original sin of breaking taboo and entering the ritual storehouse without asking. I knew I shouldn't have gone in there from the start, yet I lost that to some cheap curiosity. I hadn't felt so angry at myself until this very moment. There's a crushing sound. wasn't even interested in who made that noise. Um, disposit- despondent as I was. Kichi-kun, Kichi-kun, are you okay? It was Rina. Perhaps my clawing at the ground made it look as though I was having stomach pains. She ran over and rubbed my back like she was trying to make me feel better. This is all my fault. It's because of me. It's my fault. Kichi-kun's fault? You didn't do anything wrong. Please don't blame yourself for this. The entire Rina was doing her best to choose the right words out of consideration for me. That's why I could sense her intent behind those words. Kichi-kun, you know why Rika Chan and Toku-chan disappeared, didn't you? Don't you? Is what she was really trying to say. Because of an emergency, Rina had ignored the reason why I wanted to make sure Rika Chan was safe, but now that we actually confirmed the disappearance, it was only natural Rina would start to wonder about why. However, with the situation having gone this far, I couldn't possibly tell her now. I didn't want to admit that Rika Chan and Toko had disappeared, but I couldn't let Rina disappear either. Kichi-kun, if you stay here out, if you stay here out here in the wind, you catch a cold. Rina sat down, bringing her eyes level with mine. They told us that children should go back home to sleep. Rina showed me her watch as she said that. It was long past 1 in the morning. Time was passing too quickly. Had I been crawling around here for that long? If we don't sleep soon, we'll have trouble getting up for school tomorrow, even the adults are really worn out, since they were up searching for the mayor last night too. They were saying they would wake up a little earlier tonight. I was a little upset that they weren't allotting as much time to this as they had to search for the mayor last night, but that was something the cause of everything, had no right to criticize them for. It's alright. The police arrived a little while ago. Look, there's a police car coming into the village right now. Hearing that remarks, I looked down at the village, to see that there were indeed more cars than one would expect at this hour, coming from the darkness on the other side of the mountain. However, none of their emergency lights were on. Of course, their sirens weren't wailing either. That's right. All of the incidences that occurred right after the Watanagashi, seen as problem of Orishida-sama's curse, are be handled in secrecy. We could chance to Toko too that his appearances would end up exactly like the other serial instances in the past. Uh, superstitions, unsolved, declared a mystery, and disappeared from memory. Rika-chan's face, her sweet face like a western doll's, fades away. Satoko's smile, her energetic fang smile, would fade away. The more I tried to remember them, the less I would be able to. I deserved to be called an idiot dozens of times over, and it wouldn't be enough. I couldn't hold back the sheer of my own stupidity. I don't know why you're blaming yourself for, Kichi-kun. You should stop. I wasn't able to deny it. I couldn't. Even so, I couldn't affirm it either. I wanted to at least keep Rina out of this. If she found out, she would become involved. Please, Rina, could you just leave me alone? Even if I went home, I wouldn't be able to sleep. If I couldn't get to sleep, then I at least wanted to search for Rika Chan and Satoko until I collapsed. The entire village was looking, and yet they still haven't been found. I don't think I'll be able to find them if I went looking alone at this point. Still, I had to do it. They disappeared because of me. I couldn't possibly go to sleep while other people are out there searching. I had said that to myself and sobbed on deprecation, but I soon realized that Rina was silently trying to find the meaning in my mumblings. I realized I had misspoken. It's Kichi-kun's fault? Why do you think that? Why? That can't be. Kichi-kun, you're not at fault. I was happy that Rina said those things to me, but she only so because she didn't know the truth. If she knew that everything has been caused by my breaking taboo on the night of the Watanagashi, then even Rina would curse my existence. However, I can't even allow for those curses. Rather than me confessing my crimes to Rina, I spilled even one word about having snuck into the ritual storehouse on the night of the Watanagashi. Then even Rina could disappear tomorrow night. The gentle, spirited, always joking, always boring, but at a time like this, the most dependable person in the world, Rina, might disappear. I don't want that. Anything but that. This time I need to bear my own cross alone. Kichi-kun, I know that you always have your friends in your heart. I can really understand feeling like you want to kick yourself. Rina knows, though, that it's not Kichi-kun's fault. You didn't do anything wrong, Kichiken, and I know that. You, you know that? The shivering in my veins rushed up my back and replaced the sorrow in my heart with fear. I, I didn't tell her anything, did I? Maybe I, maybe I accidentally said something that caused Rena to figure it out. This is bad. Now Rena will disappear. Rena will disappear. Rena will disappear. Then Rena, the same way I always did, grabbed my head and began to pet it roughly. Kichiken, do you think that Rena might disappear now too? Because of Orishida-sama's curse? She put more force into the hand rubbing my head. You don't need to worry about that. Rena isn't going anywhere. I promise. Why? How can you say that with such confidence? I mean, somebody's already been sacrificed every night so far. There was no proof that it wouldn't happen again tomorrow night. There was even less proof after all that the sacrifice wouldn't be Rena. I don't care who you are, just please, if you're gonna erase someone, erase me first. Please stop cruelly getting rid of people we're close to, like the mayor for Shion and Rika Chan as a token for me. Shion's hysterical shouting came back to mind. They must be planning to kill us all after all. They must be planning to kill us last of all. They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start by killing those we're close to, and then after killing, then after they've caused us so much pain, they'll kill us. That must be what they're going. That must be what they're doing. Rena, please don't disappear. Please don't. As long as I'm still here, I can no longer conceal the sobbing welling up inside me. Come on, Kichi-kun. Crying doesn't suit you. Let's go back to the others. The housewives are cooking some Misko soup for us. It will warm you up and calm you down. Mion prompted me to stand. I didn't have the energy to oppose her, so I stood up as she urged me to. We returned to the shrine grounds to find several gas stoves. There was Misko soup in big pots. The many villagers there sipped at the soup they were given in dead, stony silence. Their expressions were absolutely exhausted. Everyone had just been running around the village until just a little while ago. But from the dreary looks on their faces, though I assumed they hadn't come back with anything yet. Ki-chan, where did you go? I was worried you disappeared too. Sorry. Miona held out some Misko soup for me, but I refused the offer. I didn't have much of an appetite. Mi-chan, how is it? Did you find any clues? Mion took a sip of her soup, her expression frank. None at all. School ended and they just went home. Then the two of them went somewhere on their bicycles. However, nobody ever saw them riding their bicycles, so... When it gets darker in Himizawa, people quickly vanish from the streets. Aside from the adults hurrying back home from town, cars all on bicycles. It was normal to see nobody walking around outside. It wasn't at all strange that nobody had seen Rika-chan and Satoko riding their bikes. It was the same last night with the mayor. There's no hope. Mion's apathetic tone picked up my nerves, but that anger quickly subsided. She had been doing all sorts of things to try and find Rika-chan until just a second ago. If I asked her, she would probably say she was up all night last night too, looking for the mayor, wouldn't she? She must have been far more fatigued than I was. Besides, what about me? I had spent the time hunched over in indecision all alone. I had no right to say anything about Mion. Ki-chan, I know it's hard, but let's turn in for the night. We just decided we should break up search for now. Drink this and let's call it quits. Is this the end? Oh, no, of course not. Once it's bright out again, we'll do a thorough search with the police's help. They could have gone to Okinomiya too. People are even saying we should go to all of Shinobon City investigation. Whether there are any witnesses for both the girls and the mayor. Hey, what happened, Ki-chan? Where did you go off to? You vanished all of a sudden. I was really worried. Suddenly I was on the receiving end, but I didn't have the willpower to respond. Sorry, I'll be more careful. Nothing happened. There wasn't anybody suspicious spying or stalking you, nothing like that. Mion declared with a serious expression. I was being criticized for how inconsiderate I had been. Despite being in so much pain, I was frustrated that I was being criticized, but it was for my sin. My sin that I must bear alone. Nothing. I'll be more careful either way. Sorry. You're not aware that nothing had happened? He heaved a big sigh. Now aware that nothing had happened, he heaved a big sigh, with his shoulders looking relieved. Oh my. I knew I smelled something good coming from over here. I'll be much obliged if you allowed me to have some. We heard the repulsive voice of a fat man, Higurashi, trailed by a handful of police officers. He was acting energetically, in a way unfitting given the situation. There's not much left, but you can have some if you want. Mia didn't like Ushi very much. Her cold attitude, though, didn't seem to bother Ushi-san the slightest. It was like splashing water in a frog's face. Well now, Misko soup leftovers have a bit too much salt for my taste. Confound it. Nah ha 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 ha. Would you like any? He recommended it to his subordinates, but everyone gave it bright smiles and refused. So have the police gotten hold of any clues? Mina's smile was warm enough to replace the Misko soup. Don't you worry, little missy. Everything's fine. We're searching for them real good. He didn't say a word about having found any new clues. In other words, there had been no progress. That sure was an annoying way of beating around the bush. In any case, it really has gotten late. All you youngsters should get on home and get some sleep. It'd be bad for your health otherwise. Yeah, keep trying to get some rest. These guys get our tax money. They'll handle it for us here. We're taxpayers too, you know. It's like we're drinking our own piss. Nah ha 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 ha. I really wasn't in the mood for laughter. In fact, Usha-san was the only one laughing like an idiot. Okay, seriously, please do your best. Let's go home, Kichi-kun. It'll be harder to wake up tomorrow if we don't. Yes, that's right. I can always bring you home if you need. Uh, Kuma-chan, why don't you bring the car around? No thanks, we came on our bicycles, so... No need to worry. We came in a truck. We'll just throw the bikes in the back. We may have gotten pretty sleepy, but we just needed to ride home at this point. I didn't want to bother the police like that. Min, however, nodded. Okay, if you insist, we would appreciate it. It's probably safer than if we went back alone. When I thought about it carefully, I realized that Rina's idea was extremely rational. Now that's decided, let's get a move on, shall we? Okay, bye. Good night. Rina-chan, Ki-chan. Yeah. Mi-chan, you get to bed too, you get to bed soon too, okay? Good night. I waved my hands as well as saying goodbye. Rika Chan and Satoko still haven't been found. My unease, however, was steadily being pushed away by sleepiness. Rina showed the police where our bicycles were, so that Ushi-san could haul them up into their truck. He prompted us to get into the back seat. I could hear the springs squeaking as I sat down onto a seat that would normally hurt my rear end. By this point it was very soft and was more than comfortable enough for me to fall asleep on. Ladies first, we'll start with a little Mrs. House. Where do you live? Uh, uh, thank you. My house is, well... Rina's voice slowly grew more distant. I felt myself being sucked into the void of sleep. Hello? Bada-san, are you asleep back there? Hmm? When I came to, it was quiet. The car was parked. Ushi-san was giving me a light slap to the cheek. It didn't feel good at all. I woke up immediately. Uh, I'm sorry, I just fell asleep. Something was being held right under my nose. Clump of metal? It was a can of coffee. It's lukewarm by now, but a cafe on late is good even at room temperature. Oh, thanks. I mechanically took the can and opened the pull top. The feeling of the warm, sweet liquid going down my throat awakened my sleepy mind. My drowsiness receded. I stopped wanting to know why the car was stopped and why I was offered coffee. Rishi-san had been driving, who had been in the driver's seat, had at some point moved to the back. Suddenly, I had a very bad feeling about this. It reminded me of the questioning yesterday at the library. It was already too late by the time I realized I made a mistake. Today of all days, it didn't look like I would be getting away. I had a feeling that until Ushi heard what he wanted to, he wouldn't let me go. Ah ha ha. Please don't get all formal with me. I'm not gonna eat you up or anything, Mabara-san. Ushi-san gulped down the last bit of his coffee, then stretched wide, showing me how relaxed he was. That, however, only served to heighten my nervousness. What do you need me for? Need from me? Need? Oh, no, nothing really. You're going to evade the question at this point. What a deeply unreadable man. Well, I don't need anything from you. I just thought that you might need something from me, Mabata-san. I don't. I don't need anything. Oh, I see. Really? Are you sure there's nothing? There's, there was only one side door in the back seat of this truck. In other words, my only exit was locked up by Ushi. I couldn't get away. I could only limply hang my head and maintain my silence. Uchi-san, despite my uh reticence, relaxed and began smoking a cigarette. The cries of the insects outside seemed to be growing longer and longer, to an amount that almost seemed infinite. Yeah, I was sure that you had something you wanted to talk to me about. Uchi-san exhaled a puff of smoke. The windows were open, but the tobacco smoke still accumulated inside the vehicle. How much did Uchi-san know? What did he know, and what did he want to hear from me? If finding out the truth made you disappear, then if I told him, would Uchi-san disappear too? I had a feeling that I didn't need to worry about that in his case. I wonder how this all ended up happening. Uchi-san addressed me in a low tone, as if he was talking to himself. How all this ended up happening? How the hell should I know? That was what I wanted to know. You know, Gio Tomitak and, Takano-san, right? I know you do because I personally witnessed you with them during the festival along with Shino Shinazaki-san. Do you know how Tomitak-san and Takano-san are doing now? They're actually passed away. They met very untimely deaths. Ishi-san probably played that card in order to surprise me, but I already knew that and didn't display the extreme reaction he expected. What's this? Did you already know? Unfortunately for this question in particular, remaining silence was equivalent to saying yes. Oh, so then did you also know that the reason Tomitak-san and Takano-san were cursed like that? People are saying that apparently they went into some forbidden building. To the storehouse for the ritual implements, that forbidden shed sealing away Himizawa's blood-stained past, where the mistake that started it all happened. Did you know about the rumors that say the mayor and Rika Furudu-san were cursed because of that too? That would mean it was mine and Shion's fault. He was right. As soon as we revealed that, we did. What do they call it? A ritual storehouse? They're saying it was a bad luck. The lock to it had been replaced to a simpler one, which made it easier for thieves to get in. What? That was news to me. They're saying it was bad luck. The lock... Yes, I already know that. What do you mean it was news? Until last year, apparently had these big bars and a huge padlock on it. Did I know that from the tips then? I mean, ever since the priest and his wife passed away, Rika Furudu-san has been managing this place, right? Apparently she talked to the mayor saying she wanted them replaced with a lighter bar, more simple padlock because the bars were far too heavy for her. I didn't know anything about those big bars he was talking about, but the lock has certainly been a simple one. It was a pretty cheap one too, and it didn't really fit my impression of what a lock for a place you would store something as important as a ritual storehouse would look like. Rika Chan is a small girl after all. The bars were heavy with rust and they must have caused her a lot of trouble. So the mayor hired a craftsman and replaced the lock with a simple padlock, so she could open it with a key. So how does this mean it was bad luck? Here's what I'm saying. The thieves couldn't get in with the old tight lock. The mayor and Rika Chan replaced it with a cheap lock and key on their own so thieves could break into it. Apparently that's how it's going down. That explanation's a bit. Letting that slide, certain members of the village had delivered punishment upon the thieves who stole into the ritual storehouse, as well as the mayor and Rika-chan who changed the lock. At least those are the whispers that seem to be going around. Mabara-san, what do you think? What do I think? I don't really know what you mean by certain members of the village. Are you familiar with the three families? Representatives from each of them have gave a short address at the Watanagashi festival opening ceremony. Did you see them? I came partway through the festival, so I don't really. The three families are the three oldest families in Himizawa. To give actual names, the Kimiyoshi family, the Shinozaki family, and the Furudu family. They each have quite a lineage, it seems. Lineage. Long ago, it said that everything in the village was decided by the council of the three families. The Kimiyoshi family, Old Man Kimiyoshi, meaning the mayor's family, the Shinzaki family was Mion's, the Furudu family was Rika Chan's family then. Ba-ba-da-ba. Wonder who was the representative of Rika Chan's family? Was it just Rika? Because I thought the rest of her family is dead, right? After the war, the Shinzaki family quickly expanded their influence. Particularly speaking, after doing the fight against the construction during the dam conflict, jumped to the top of the hierarchy in Himizawa. You see, though in accordance with the old ways, they still decide important village matters only after consulting with the three families. That's why the leaders of the three families each have their own address at the start of the Watanagashi. In other words, the mayor, the old lady, are currently in charge of Shinzaki, and the last remaining member of the Furudu family, Rika-san. Yeah, it is Rika. I heard that the Shinzaki family was pretty high up, so Rika-chan's family was just as old? Well, as you're aware, she has no relatives at all. Oh yeah, if it was from the tips, it was from the book. The notebook, I remember now. Well, as you're aware, has no relatives. In reality, the Furudu family holds pretty much no influence. However, it seems like people gravitate towards Rika-chan on a personal level, and I hear that many of the villagers' elders have blind faith in her. It was certainly true that Rika-chan had an odd sort of charisma with the elderly. So what are you telling me about all these family stuff for? Rishi-san paused for emphasis, lighting another cigarette. I've explained a lot, but I suppose it's still not enough. I'm asking because I don't understand. Rishi gave me a dry, meaningful grin and blew out another puff of smoke. Members of the three families are disappearing one after the other. That's what I'm talking about. I've read that it's based on some sort of old tradition inherited in Himizawa, but I don't know much beyond that. I don't know much about it either. That's why I'm asking. The leaders of the Kimiyoshi and the Furudu family have disappeared. Maybe the leader of the Shinozaki family will disappear next. Well, that's just a random idea bouncing around in my head at the moment. Just kidding, really. The leader of the Shinozaki family, who is that? Orion or something? The current leader is an old lady at the main house, but wouldn't it be correct to say that particularly all the right of leadership being transferred to her granddaughter Mian-san? Incorrect to say. The visage of Mian giving prompt directions to the idols while searching for Rika-chan sprung back to mind. Mian? She's gonna disappear? I haven't even thought about that possibility, or my head stood on end. That's insane. Nobody wants that, right? Of course not. We can't allow that. Clamp. Ushi-san grabbed my shoulder with both hands. Then help me, Murata-san. Is there anything you've noticed about Mio Shinozaki, lady? Please tell me. I was going along with him, but by the time I'd realized it was too late. Ushi-san brought his face in closer, almost close enough to ram into me, waiting for my next words. This pressure, I can't tear my eyes away from it. That moment I heard a beeping sound. It was from the driver's seat. He ignored it at first, but then it started to bother him, so he finally let go of me and leaned into the driver's seat. Hello? Yep, loud and clear. I was saved. Of course, it's not like I could escape through this opening. I see. Yes, alright. Let's head back then. Yes. Okay. Apparently he was, being recalled. Now that I knew I'd be free, the tension in my body dissipated all at once. It looks like I need to get going. We were just getting to the good part, that's too bad. Ushi-san flung open the door, exited and walked around the front to to the driver's seat. He's left the door open. Did that mean I could leave? You really care about your friends, Mabata-san. An admirable trait for a kid to have in this day and age. I totally understand that it feels like you're betraying them if you told the police anything. Mabata-san, it's the middle of the night, so get a good uh, night's sleep and then think about it. Just a little bit of courage for you might end up being what saves many of your friends at the end. Did he want to say that the sacrifices wouldn't stop with Rika Chan and Satoko? You know this already, but every night since the Watanagashi something has happened. In the past, the curse only occurs once per year, but this time it's been going on for days. What a preposterous year this has been. I don't think you can call this preposterous. This night before last night, and not today. There's no proof that something won't happen tomorrow night as well. Our job to prevent such a thing that happens, but for that, we need your cooperation, Mabata-san. I looked out the door, opened the door to see none other than my own house right in front of me. It creeped me out that he knew my name and address, but I was too sleepy right now. I was too sleepy to care. Wait, well, you're probably tired. It's already 3 in the morning. Please get yourself a good rest. Yes, sir, I'll be going now. When I was about to get out of the truck as if to deliver a parting blow, Yushi-san said something in a raised voice. I'll be coming by every day until you feel like talking, alright? I don't be forcing you to confess in the interrogation room really right is really in fashion these days. I couldn't say anything in response, but you slamming the door probably serves the same purpose. After lightly beeping the horn, Yushi-san a truck drove off, going to the front door without waving goodbye. The door was locked, but the chain wasn't up. I unlocked the door and entered, then walked over to the staircase. That's where I lost consciousness. Higurashi when they cry, maybe? Yeah, okay. I lost consciousness by the stairs. Tired. Empty-handed. The Shinozaki family. The one who drastically expanded simply months after the war was the Shinozaki family. The leader at that time was Oryo Shinozaki, who still has that seat today. Oryo Shinozaki has grown old, and today you can only catch a glimpse of who she was at the time. From what I've been told, however, she was a leader extolled as the best in history, having been comes to roll aside from going out a few times a week for lessons. She spent her time at home in solitude, and seems to leave most of the ceremonial affairs to her hair, Mion. There are different views on why the successor was not her daughter or her granddaughter, Mion. There's rumor that it has something to do with um, heir, disarmament of her daughter and son-in-law. That uninhabitable granddaughter, unhabituated granddaughter Mion Shinozaki, still shows no sign of the dignity required of the next leader. However, she does have Shinozaki blood in her veins and is permitted the name of Demon. She still doubtlessly requires caution and is probably hiding her fangs and claws as skillfully as the leader of the past did. The elder leader of the Shinozaki family. Yes. The postal workers hasn't seen anything either. The Shinozaki main house has their seal hanging from their mailbox so that anyone can stamp their mail or parcels with it and drop it in. Ah ha ha ha, that's rather careless of them. So when was the last time she was seen? She was last seen at the Watanagashi opening ceremony greetings. She apparently returned home right after that. Well, she is pretty old. From what I've heard, she goes out a few times a week to take lessons, right? Have you find anything out about that? Every Monday she goes to the assembly hall to practice the um, Tashigoto, but she didn't go this week. Any calls to see she wasn't going to be there? Has anyone confirmed it? No, nobody. She apparently took days off once in a while, though, so nobody thought it was strange. Tomorrow, why don't we pretend we're the town hall and call around 10 o'clock? Just figure out whether she's home. 10 o'clock? Got it. Ever since it started to seem more and more like ancient Himizawa traditions had something to do with all this, he's been keeping a careful eye on the three families. At this point, the leaders of the Kimiyoshi and the leaders of the Furuta family had disappeared. There's only one leader left, Orio Shinozaki, and the leader of the Shinozaki family. The leader of the Shinozaki family. She's apparently a pretty old woman. Her dignity isn't waned, but she only appeared before people, rarely. So it was difficult to confirm where she was at any given time. She, the last leader, still hadn't been seen since the day of the Watanagashi. Was she still alive and well within the Shinozaki main house? Or had she, according to Mion Shinozaki, she had fallen ill and was sleeping it off? I wonder if she's really sleeping. I'd like to take a look at her face and her pulse. You can say that again. The two of them breathed out a big puff of cigarette smoke. Yushi-san, about the search warrant from the Shinozaki main house and the Furuta shrine. Do you think we'll get them? Yushi-san didn't respond, exhaling another, cloud of tobacco smoke. His surroundings now as foggy as his mind. Okay, scrapbook 10. Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba. The Hidden Demon. The inhabitants of Himizawa believe that the blood of demon flows in their blood. As such, the characters of demon is treated as very sacred. For example, usage of the character demon in names is apparently a right served only to the leaders of the Kimiyoshi and the Shinozaki family, one of the Furuta. Case in point, you can see it in the current Shinozaki family leader's name. Oreo is written with the character. This and only this is proof that she is the legitimate leader of the Shinozaki family. In the same way, Miya Shinozaki is the successor, contained in her name with me being written as. It also goes for Orio's daughter and Mion's mother, Arcane, who did not succeed her. It's known that before the disowning, Arcane's name was actually written as, though it was changed afterwards to still read as Arcane. Incidentally, it's thought that the first character, the Mayan Kimyoshi's name, originally meant demon, which can also be read as key. It should be said that names using the character aren't limited only to successors of the Shinozaki family. You can even find in the last name of the three families. For example, the character for Kimiyoshi are likely split up versions of. If you read it in reverse and top to bottom as, it clearly resembles the character. As for the Furuta family, who have been in the Shinto priesthood for generations, the word fortune teller can be written without interval characters as. I think that with the addition of a demon's horn, the tick on the top of the character, the becomes the, and is used in their name now. In the case of the Shinozaki family, where Shinozaki is written, I can't find any reference to the character, perhaps because it's already integrated into their first name. They were the clans responsible for running the Watanagashi ceremony, so I think that instead they include the contents of the last ceremony into their last name. The Zaki in Shinozaki is a conjecture of the word for slice and the word sona written as. It probably contains the hidden meaning of human body, as it is a complicated mass of organs composed by 4 sides. I think, in other words, that Shinozaki comes from those 2 sides open the guts. Request denied? Uh-oh. This is the police station, actually. I'm back! How did it go? Did you find any clues? The officers shook their head in disappointment. Exhaustion was plainly showing on everyone's face. That was only natural. None of them had gone a wink of sleep since the night of Watanagashi. Chief, let the youngest of us take a nap and then switch them out. We've got a long stretch ahead of us after all. Let's not push ourselves too hard. Rest up so take it so we can take it easy as we go. I've been telling them to take sleeps and shifts. Nobody's actually willing to sleep, though. Could you tell them yourself, Ushi-san? Oh my, you don't need to force yourselves. Um, Kamiyama-kun. Please let everyone else sleep in shifts, starting with the youngest. Um, Kamiyama-san, please do that. After the chief told him as well, but Kamiyama-san left his seat. So, Chief, still not good on our request? It's just a rumor among the villagers in the first place, you know. It's gonna be difficult without more concrete evidence, even when the evidence might be tucked away in there. We need evidence that evidence is tucked away in there. Chief, don't start speaking in riddles to me now. We have witnesses that say 4 people, including the 2 who died, went into the forbidden ritual storehouse without permission. This is all reliable information. You might call it information, but they're really only rumors, they're not concrete evidence. While it's true that we don't have any pictures of the 4 of them sneaking in with cloths tied around their heads. Anyway, those 4 saw something inside the storehouse. Something important enough that they've been erased. Important enough that they've been erased? What would that be exactly? That's why I'm asking for a woman to go looking for in the first place. Anything Anything pointing out the Shinozaki family's connections to violent organizations would be a major contender, like a pile of uh, Taco EVs or secret puppy production facility. The secret Shinozaki family fortune would also be pretty difficult to discard. Look, Ushi-san, I know how you feel. However, with that storehouse is a secret building belonging to the Furuta Shrine, and we need to have proper consideration for the locals when dealing with it. I heard that there was an hour-long call made from Congress Shinozaki to the big man. Chief, could he have nailed you back down? Anyway, as long as we don't have suitable evidence, we won't get a search warrant for the storehouse. That goes for the Shinozaki main house too, especially considering that the uh, jurisdiction of both Sector 4 and Peculiar Police Crime Prevention Division. We need careful preparation first. If you say so, you need preparation then. Why don't you just let me talk with them directly? Ching Chan is the head of Sector 4, right? For crime prevention, it's Yami-san. They seem like they would be quicker to talk to if I sat them down at a mahjong table. Chief, you have a visitor. Yikes. Pushing the employees who guided him in right out of the way was an old man who looked like a Yakuza member, giving his created kimono and hakama. Did he not have enough to get enough of this over the phone? I am Congress Shinozaki. I demand to know who's responsible for this instant. Hello. I am the division chief, Takaguchi. I don't need your name. I could have you demoted on a whim. You wouldn't even be enough. Bring out the one called Ushi or whatever. He deserves punishment for requesting a search warrant on the sacred Furuta Shrine. I sincerely apologize. Ushi is currently out on investigating, and he's been difficult to contact. I'll take his place and hear you out. So please have a seat. The chief's eyes were telling me to get out of here. Perhaps I'll gracefully accept this favor. Maybe I'll go lay down in the nap room. Listen here, the Furuta Shrine spent 2,600 years under the imperial calendar, and 2,500 more beyond that. It's sacred, a sanctity that must never be defiled. The 800,000 gods Orishida-sama and the spirit of our ancestors are enshrined there. The holy shrine protects Himizawa from where the sun comes up to when it sets, and from when the moon rises to when it falls. Who's this idiot who wants to step foot in there? Besides, the right to religion is the most reserved right of the people of this country in the Constitution. You dare to be so bold as to study that, using your own investigative negligence as pretext? I cannot, I will not allow it. Are you listening, you lying scum? I'm angry now, so you're not getting off the hook that easily. Oh. Uh, alright. Yeah. Chapter 10. Bye bye.